Hi, my name is Francine and I have ovarian cancer. We don't know how long I have, so my job right now is to make every day count. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to, before we get started, just preface this video. I wanted to thank you all for so many fabulous, supportive comments in the last video. It didn't go viral, but it definitely reached a lot of people. I got a lot of views. I think it was 12,000 overnight, and then it might be up to close to 30,000 now, just a few days later. And it blew me away. I wanted to mention this because I wasn't able to respond to all your comments, and I'm accustomed to being able to do that. Sometimes I just had to put a heart next to them. But I wanted to let you know that I think I read all of them. Any kind of latecomers I may not have, but I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate you very much for being here. It was a hard video to make. It was one of my vulnerable ones, and I do them. Sometimes I do informational videos. Sometimes I share other people's stories, and I'm going to share a story today. Okay, thank you again. Love. Welcome to my new little corner of the living room. I moved out here for some better light, more natural light, and I used my Christmas money, and what I wanted for Christmas was an IKEA gift certificate. It's not quite set up yet. I don't have my PC set up yet, but it's looking good. It's looking good, I think. I'll throw up a picture of the progress. Yeah, I think I'll be comfortable out here. So today I wanted to present the story of someone else named Margaret Summers. She went by Peggy, and she passed away of kidney cancer maybe about 4 months after diagnosis. I hate that because it was stage 4 and she had children. She was only 55. She had a husband and 4 children, and that always breaks my heart. One of them, named Hannah, is also part of this story, and she was in college at the time, I believe. She may have seen her graduate, but nevertheless, no matter where she came in the ranking age-wise, as far as the kids, it's still too young to lose your mom and too young to have to leave your kids. I think if you're 40 and you're close to a parent and you lose them, that's still too young. You know, I lost my mother at 34. She was the same age I am right now. And that's heartbreaking. It really is. I mean, I just felt so lost without her because she was a single parent. My father was not a parent, like, at all, but that's another video. Anyway, I wanted to share her story because about, I think it was just within hours, this child, Hannah, her and her older sister found letters that Peggy left behind her jewelry box on her dresser. And they were written a while before because she was afraid of a risky procedure she was going to have, and she just had a feeling. So hence the title. If you're reading this, then the surgery didn't go well. So I wanted to share someone else's take on it as well. And yeah, Hannah told ABC News her and her sister found the letters Peggy Summers wrote to each of her children after her death. The letters which Peggy wrote to each of her children and her husband, Timothy Summers, were placed on her dresser and tucked behind her jewelry box. Hannah Summers said, now I've seen an account where she has 4 children, and I saw another account that she's got 3 children. So either way, still tragic. So Hannah posted her letter on Twitter with a message to please hug your parents a little closer and never take them for granted, because you never know when you could lose them. Peggy wrote the notes in June ahead of a risky procedure she feared she would not survive. So I'm going to read the letter to you, and I have not read this yet, so we'll tackle this together. But I wanted to share. It was all over the news. It went viral. This was in 2016, by the way, if I didn't mention that already. I'm going to share the People magazine version. It was on ABC News, NBC News, and a couple of others. They were from Fort Wayne, Indiana. All right. So this section I'm going to read, the writer from People magazine is Jason Hahn, Hahn. Want to give credit where credit's due. It was published November 3rd, 2017. And it goes a little like this. The title is Teen Daughter Shares Secret Letter Her Mother Wrote Before Dying of Cancer. And she says, I love you more than you will ever know. It was published on November 3rd, 2017. Hannah shares the touching letter her mom wrote her before dying of kidney cancer on October 31st. That would be 2016. Before dying from cancer, a 55-year-old mother wrote letters to her children to assure them everything would be okay even after she was gone. Margaret Peggy Summers was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer in June of 2016 and died on October 31st at Parkview Memorial Hospital in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Just hours after her passing, Peggy's daughter, Hannah Summers, along with her 3 siblings, discovered touching letters addressed to each of them on a dresser in her mother's home. My mom was the most selfless, compassionate person I have ever known, and she meant the world to me. She was my best friend, Hannah, 18, a nursing student at Indiana University, Purdue University, tells People. Her whole life, she strived to help other people. She never put her needs before the needs of others. Peggy's letters were a surprise to each of her children, but reading their mother's loving words so soon after she had passed was a sentimental and comforting experience for each of them. The letter was very hard to read. It was very emotional, and I think all of us cried when we read ours, Hannah says. But it was also very comforting in a way because it helped me realize that she will always be here with me. I think the letters are definitely helping to give us a little bit of closure during this difficult time. Hannah posted her letter to Twitter on November 1st, and it quickly went viral and garnered more than 290,000 likes and 90,000 retweets. Okay, now here's the letter. I get emotional. I mean, I don't get emotional in my own shit. I don't understand. If you are reading this, then the surgery did not go well. I'm sorry. I tried my best to beat this terrible disease, but I guess God had other things for me to do. Please don't be mad. bad things happen in life, and we have to learn to deal with them no matter how much it hurts. Watching her mother go through kidney cancer was a difficult experience, Hannah says, and the months after her diagnosis were filled with many painful moments. And then it bounces back to the letter and a narrative. There were some nights she would be up all night and just groan in pain or vomiting, she said. She probably spent about 10 out of the 15 months she was diagnosed in the hospital, either because of an infection or for physical therapy because of the infections made her so weak. Okay. Okay, reading ahead. One article said that she was diagnosed in June, and then she passed in October of the same year. That apparently is not the case according to this paragraph. It must have been that she passed in 2017. There were some nights she would be up all night just groaning in pain or vomiting, she said. She probably spent 10 out of the 15 months she was diagnosed in the hospital, either because of an infection or the physical therapy because of the infections making her so weak. But through it all, Hannah said her mother never complained once, largely relying on her faith in God. This courage to persevere and remain optimistic was evident in her letters. And then back to the letter. Hang on to those good memories and tell everyone you love them as often as you can. Peggy's letter reads, enjoy life and live each day as if it was your last, because none of us know if today will be the last. And most of all, remember that I love you more than you will ever know. Hannah wants everyone to read her mother's words, to remember to hold their family close and cherish the time they have with them. And then Hannah says, I hope the letters help people realize just how much of an amazing person my mom was, and that people can learn from her example, she says. I also hope they help people realize that life is precious and we need to appreciate all our loved ones because you never know when they'll be gone. This beautiful parting gift has a few words of wisdom for us all. When Peggy discovered she had terminal cancer at 55, then she knew then she had to go perform one final duty as a mom, impart her wisdom to her children, from the practical to the emotional, and most importantly, the spiritual. So before her death, Summers managed to type the letter to each of her children, including her teenage daughter, Hannah. I'm going to see if I can just find a copy of the letter with a little less narration. Because if Hannah wanted to truly let us, she wanted us to really read this letter, then that's what I think we should do. Although written lovely, it was written lovely, but I'd like to just read the letter. Okay. It's a letter primarily of love and understanding, of a gentle guidance and acceptance, a beautiful parting gift from a loving mother. As heartbreaking as the letter is, we can only take comfort that Mom will never be far away. As Summers wrote, I will be smiling with you through all of the important moments of your life. It's worth taking the time to read the whole letter, as we're pretty sure there might be a few words of wisdom for us all. Okay. Hannah, if you are reading this, then the surgery did not go well. I'm sorry. I tried my best to beat this terrible disease, but I guess God had other things for me to do. Please don't be mad. Bad things happen in life, and we have to learn to deal with it, no matter how much it hurts. I want you to be happy and use the gifts God has given you. You will be a wonderful nurse, just as you are a wonderful person. Study hard in school. Don't worry about a job. If you want to work in the summer, fine, but you need to really concentrate on school. Be patient with Dad. This is going to be hard on him, and he will need time. You both need to lean on each other and talk a lot, which is not one of our strong points, but try and don't give up. Remember, you have a lot of people who love you, so talk to them often. Use your common sense about things like not going anywhere by yourself and having an emergency kit in your car in the winter. If you can carpool to school, do it. Stay away from parties because they're usually bad. Not all boys are bad, but most will tell you anything to try and get you to do things. Try to hang out with people who have the same beliefs as you because they will make you stronger. Remember that I am still with you and still just as proud of you as I always have been. Keep God in your life and never be ashamed to let others know that you love God. If you have kids someday, make sure they know how much I love them and wanted to be there to see them. Hang on to those good memories and tell everyone you love them as often as you can. Enjoy life and live each day as if it is your last, because none of us know if today will be the last. And most of all, remember that I love you more than you will ever know, Mom. I can't even imagine having to write or just choosing. Like, I can imagine choosing to write letters to your children, but executing it, just knowing, I mean, those are your children. And as far as I know, she was the only one who actually published hers. And I hope she is doing wonderfully. I mean, it's been about 7, maybe 8 years. I hope she's a fabulous nurse. I'm sure she is. I'm sure she is. I don't. Okay. The reason I like to do these stories is because if somebody because these are people who existed, and if it is their wish to leave their legacy in a letter or their wisdom, well, then I think it should be heard. And in this case, Hannah wanted people to read her words, and I'm honored that she did. I especially like the part about, parties and boys. I'm sure that Hannah was a good girl, but I hope she is living her life. I hope she has a great partner at this point and having babies of her own. I didn't see any updates. I looked, but maybe after that she became much more private. So thank you, Hannah, for sharing that. And thank you, Peggy. Thank you for leaving that and showing your courage, and you're definitely a brave person. And I totally believe Hannah when she says what a good person you were. And I'm sure you're a great spirit person now. And I'm glad that you're out of pain. Okay, everybody, I will catch you in the next video. And it won't be very long. It might be tomorrow. I'm not sure, but I've got to set up my new space and give you that final picture. All right, so this was me in natural light. Hopefully that will works out. Yeah. Okay. So until next time, feel blessed. Be blessed because you're blessed. Bye.